What's going on, everybody? It's Richie Rax here. It's Wednesday. We're heading into week 4 of the NFL season, and I got everything you need to succeed in those weekly fantasy tournaments. All right? We got some quarterbacks picked out for you. Let's get into it. Week 4, top dollar play. How about those top dollar plays last week? They all hit. This week's top dollar play is somewhat obvious. It's the boy Aaron Rodgers. Okay, he's on fire. He's unstoppable. 10 touchdowns, no interceptions through the first 3 weeks. He's going to cost you $7,900. It's a pretty penny. But, he's got a good matchup going up against San Francisco. And he's going to put up numbers. So, if you want to spend top dollar on a quarterback and, find some value at the other positions, Aaron Rodgers is the guy this week at $7,900. I mean, it kind of goes without saying, man. He's unstoppable. He's been great, even without his number one option in Jordy Nelson. San Francisco got lit up by Pittsburgh. They got lit up by Arizona. And I look for that trend to continue this week against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Moving down the list, Cam Newton is a solid play at $7,000 on DraftKings. All right, he's averaging 24.9 fantasy points per game. Carolina is going on the road to play Tampa Bay. He's had two passing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown in each of his last 2 games. Right, he's coming off a 315-yard performance against New Orleans where he got you 32.9 fantasy points. Now, one thing, beware of division rivalries. All right, if you know any old dudes who bet, they'll tell you those are the ones you got to watch out for. These teams play each other so often, and they know each other so well that it can be risky with these division rivalries sometimes. But that goes both ways. So it could help a team, it could hurt a team. But just something to be on the lookout for. What about my boy Carson Palmer? Right? I've been saying it, said it all season, and he's been lighting it up all season. 28 points, 22 points, 22 points. $6,800. Arizona has been great. They got so many weapons on offense. He's averaging 24.5 points, fantasy points per game. 6,800. I like Carson Palmer again. Again, be careful of those division rivalries, right? Arizona's at home. They're hosting St. Louis, right? And those Rams is a pretty stout defense. Now, I think they might be able to stop the run somewhat. So I am expecting Carson Palmer to throw the ball a lot. And I like him again this week at $6,800. 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions on the season, 803 yards. Solid play. How about my boy Flacco? Joe Flacco. $6,000 on DraftKings. Baltimore is going on the road to play Pittsburgh. Now, if you looked at his average fantasy points per game, it's only 17.6. But we're including the measly 2.6 fantasy points he put up in week 1 going against Denver. Now, since then, he's completed 32 passes in each of his last 2 games, 2 touchdowns and 1 interception in each of those 2 games as well. And he's put up 25 points and 24 points. All right, they're going to keep throwing the ball this week when they're playing Pittsburgh. Right, they haven't really been able to get Forsett too involved in the run game. Pittsburgh is missing Ben Roethlisberger. Not like that really has anything to do with it. But, I'm expecting Flacco to throw the ball a lot. Pittsburgh is not the steel curtain defense, right? They're more of a fast-paced shootout team nowadays. And their defense just, isn't anything to be very scared of. So, Flacco, 6,000. What about Andy Dalton? Right? I said that last week too. Did you start him last week? If you did, he got you 35 points, and you only had to pay $5,800 for him. Right? I had him in a bunch of leagues. If I knew a little bit better, I would have stacked him with A.J. Green instead of Tyler Eifert, who put up the goose eggs, right? 0-0-0. And Andy Dalton went off last week. If you started him, you were very happy. He saved a lot of my lineups, and he's going to give you the value you need to spend on a top dollar wide receiver. All right, now he's going for 5,900 again this week. I don't know how. Andy Dalton is playing like one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. Now Cincinnati's playing at home. They're hosting Kansas City, who just got lit up by Aaron Rodgers for 5 touchdown passes, and Dalton's coming off that 35-point fantasy game against Baltimore. He's got 866 yards, 8 touchdowns, and only 1 interception on the season. Right? He's protecting the ball. He's not throwing it into danger, and that's what he was criticized for when he was younger, and in the past. So Andy Dalton again, $5,900 is a steal to me. All right, now we're getting down to some real value. Well, here's another one up here around $5,800. Tyrod Taylor, right? They call the kid T-Mobile. Guess because he's mobile. Tyrod Taylor's only going for $5,800 on DraftKings. Buffalo's playing at home. They're hosting the Giants. Tyrod Taylor is averaging 23 fantasy points per game, and Giants are dead last in passing yards allowed. Okay, they're last in the league. I don't see any reason to not start Tyrod Taylor at $5,800. LaShawn McCoy's possibly injured too, so Tyrod Taylor could get a few more rushing yards than usual. I look for Carlos Williams actually to pick up a little bit more of that slack, but go check out my running back segment after this. I'm about to do that right after, and I'll give you some pointers over there for running backs. But yeah, Tyrod Taylor at $5,800 going up against Giants, dead last in the pass game, like Tyrod Taylor. Now this might be my favorite pick of the whole week when you're talking about value, because this is going to clear up some cap space for y'all, and you're gonna get 3 solid wide receivers by drafting this quarterback at this price point. It's Derek Carr, $5,300. Oakland is going to Chicago. He's averaging 19 fantasy points per game. That's when you include the meager 3 points he put up week 1 against Cincinnati. Right? Since then, he dropped 30 fantasy points at Baltimore, and then he put up 23 against Cleveland. Right? Bears, they're 6th against pass yards. Right? So they're not giving up the most yardage yet, but they're 32nd, right, dead last in opponent average points scored per game. So people are scoring on him, y'all. Derek Carr's got 726 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception on the season. He's showing maturity. He's showing chemistry with Amari Cooper. Michael Crabtree has been stepping up for them. He's coming to become a good, solid number 2 wide receiver option. And Latavius Murray, so this team's looking kind of stacked, A few years, it might be one of the best offenses in the NFL. And Derek Carr at $5,300. Loving Derek Carr this week. I'm going to stack him with Amari Cooper in a lot of my lineups this week. All right, you guys, if this helped, go ahead, give me a like, subscribe to my channel. I got more videos coming for week 4. We got running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, and defenses coming up. I'm going to get those in before Thursday. All right, this is Richie Racks. Let's bring that money home, baby.